whenever I felt good about something or myself, there was multiple people there to slap me down, make me feel like I was being voiced.
Hey everyone, I'm Angeline Constantinou, and this is Her Unapologetic Voice. This podcast was created for women who lead but are done leading from apology. Here we have real, unfiltered conversations about boundaries, truth, and confidence. The kind of talks that remind you your voice is not something you find once, it's something you build. Every episode will give you something real to take with you, whether it's a boundary script, a reflection tool, or simply the courage to say what you really mean. So if you're ready to lead from your truth, not from approval, this is your space. Your unapologetic voice starts here. Welcome back to Her Unapologetic Voice podcast, the space where women rise, reclaim their identity, and speak their truth without shrinking. Today's episode is deeply personal, deeply raw, and incredibly necessary. We are talking about narcissistic abuse, what it does to your identity, your nervous system, and your confidence, and how you reclaim yourself after it. My guest today, Shari Leigh Roberts, endured over 5 decades of narcissistic abuse, 5 decades of manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional erosion. And in 2019, her healing journey began, not just toward recovery, but toward awakening. What makes this conversation so powerful is that Shari didn't just survive, she transformed. And today she guides other trauma survivors toward wholeness through holistic healing and spiritual coaching. If you have ever questioned your reality, if you have ever felt like you lost yourself in a relationship, if you have ever wondered, is it too late for me to heal? This episode is for you. Shari, I am so honored to have you here. Welcome to Her Unapologetic Voice. It is so great to have you here on this Monday morning here from Southeast Florida. Please tell us, I always ask all my guests, what time is it where you are and where are you live streaming from?
I am in the island of Crete in the country of Greece.
Okay.
I time now, but I just want to say thank you for having me, for creating this awesome space for survivors. As you can tell, my vocal tremor would generally and has kept me from speaking. Listeners, if you can just sit back and hear what is said, you'll gain a lot of knowledge and inspiration. And you asked the time. It is 4:06 p.m.
Wow, almost 6 p.m. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is such a benefit of, this is the benefit of social media.
Yes.
Being able to make these connections throughout the world. And I know that you have a very emotional story to share. Folks, please be patient, because Shari, I commend her. She has so much courage for coming on here to share her voice, and you will hear vocal tremors. She is going to share with you how that happened and how she transformed her life and now is empowering other trauma survivors. And like I said, I commend you, because it takes courage to have a voice, and we all have a voice. And for those of you who may have a little bit of an issue understanding, there will be subtitles on our YouTube channel, which is Her Unapologetic Voice. Please be patient. Shari has an incredible story to share. Shari, I know that you lived through over 5 decades of narcissistic abuse. What was the moment or series of moments that finally made you realize that you deserved more?
Actually, I, like so many others, didn't know I was a victim. In 2019, I'm in a therapist chair, and I am emoting decades of grief. And when I was done, I said, I don't know who I am. I look in the mirror and I don't recognize who I see. I mean, I've had a awesome career, done a lot of really good things, but at that point, all of it was null and void. She said, well, it sounds like you are a victim of narcissistic abuse. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? She hands me a diagram of narcissism. What they do, how they drag you down, beat you down mentally, sometimes physically, manipulate to the point that we no longer know ourselves. That is when my true journey began, going from victim to thrive.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Now, regarding the vocal tremor, if you feel comfortable sharing what happened that caused the vocal tremor.
That was a lifetime coming. My abuse began at age 5 with a narcissistic father who always told me and my older siblings. The F up only speak when spoken to. And for me and my sister, it was your females. Your opinions don't matter. Then I dated married divorced, dated again. All of the trauma resulted in rewiring my neurological system.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. So can you imagine, just this is at age 5 is what I from understand.
Yeah.
Narcissistic abuse from your father. And I know for a fact that there are many young women out there who are still suffering in silence. They've been told at a very young age that they are unloved and they've been abused. What advice would you give them?
Let me back up. My story begins at birth. It was told I was a mistake, and then the abuse began carried on. I had no other point of reference. I thought that abuse or this treatment was normal. Okay? When you know different, what advice do I give? If you know deep down that what you're enduring isn't right or in alignment with who you are and what you now got out. And I say this from a place of allowing narcissists in every aspect of my life. Whenever I felt good about something or myself, there was multiple people there to slap me down, make me feel like I was being boisterous or self-patting or just, okay, go deep within and follow and speak your truth. Also, you cannot heal without help.
That I agree with you. Absolutely.
I mean, you have your own story. How did you begin healing? Who did you reach out to?
I reached out to, at that time, it was when I lived in New York, it was the Dutchess County Department of Mental Hygiene. I reached out to a therapist. I went to a therapist who had actually she actually went through domestic violence. Fortunately, my therapist, that was my first steps towards my healing, is to take ownership and reach out. Because I knew that if I didn't do that, I probably, there would have been severe consequences.
Yeah.
Because my ex-partner had mental health issues. Mm-hmm. And although he ran a successful business, behind closed doors, there was narcissistic abuse, gaslighting, manipulation, commingled funds, etc. So I took that first step, and that was hard. And also another tough part was I reached out to the New York State Police and the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office for help. And I know that there are women who say that they are no help, but in this case, I had to fight for it. I had to fight for help. I cooperated with them because I had a restraining order. The first step was the restraining order against my ex-partner and going for help. I recognized it. I took ownership. I surrendered, and I went for help. And a year later, I moved to upstate New York, which is Saratoga Springs, New York. But the healing part, we have to choose our hard, okay? Like healing is hard, but staying in victim mode is hard. You have to choose your heart, if that makes sense.
Totally. And the day I learned I had been a victim, I needed to choose. Am I going to stay there, or am I going to heal?
Right,
yes.
Right.
And we know the healing journey is not for the faint of heart. It is hard. It will tax every fiber of your being. This is why you need to take the hand of someone who's walked that healing journey. It might be Angeline, it might be me, it might be brother, whomever, reach out and take someone's hand, because once you commit and go with, you are living the magic. On the other side, it is indescribable.
What was the hardest part in the beginning of your healing journey?
Recognize that my oldest brother, mother, and sister-in-law were going to and did back the victimizer over me, that they were not willing to accept that the guy was abusing me. That would upset their life, and they didn't want to hear it. I had to let them go, get the hell out of Tucson, and trust in God.
That's it. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy because people think, well, what is God doing to me? But actually, God is deconstructing your life, and he's moving you into a place where you will be made whole again.
Yeah.
And he sees you doing the work. He does. He sees you doing the work.
Yeah.
And he knows I always leaned into God. So when I went through mine, I leaned into God immediately. Not right away, but afterwards I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I leaned into God for guidance. What do I do? And I started to focus on Bible scriptures, and it just made me feel so good. It increased my confidence, and it just made me feel good. Like I felt good again about myself, because so many women out there, like, I'm not saying everyone, but so many women out there do not believe in God because they have been emotionally broken, but actually it's the opposite. And I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday in the morning. God has a plan for you. He doesn't want you to be with those people anymore. I said to her, remove yourself. Just remove yourself.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
And just recognize it, surrender. Oh, they're not going to be a part of your life anymore. And that's it. She was like, okay. And then I said, start to get out. She has gone through a lot, and she's actually been on my podcast show, and that was 3 years ago. She was going through the healing process, but then she had a setback. But I always say that the comeback is always stronger than the setback. I said, this is just a setback, and she's going to a couple of therapists. I think 2 are too much, but that's just my opinion. But anyways, I empowered her. I said, go out and meet new people. Like, even just going to a yoga or dance class is going to help you. It's going to help your mind, and start to speak positivity into your life and pray and lean into God. So she said, okay, because it was a real crisis yesterday morning. This happened at 7:30 in the morning, my time. I was on the phone with her for 15 minutes, but she has a lot of support. She just is not cognizant of it. She is still, what's holding her back is her father. I said a prayer for her yesterday. My pastor prayed for her, and we are all praying for her for healing and to be free from that toxicity, because it's not serving her.
Okay, but as we talked, I think, or message people who are willing to heal and move on, well, you can pray. We can do energy healing on people. It is temporary if they don't want to heal. There are people who want to remain victims. That's where they get their feedback and attention. Everything they need, they get in that victimhood. I get it. I do, and I know plenty of people there, and this goes back to the beginning of our conversation. Are we going to go the healing path, or remain the victimhood?
Right. Exactly. Well, we have a choice. We have a choice. We can either stay in victim mode, which I certainly didn't.
No.
But it takes a while. It doesn't happen right away.
No.
Along with that comes shame and guilt, because people say, well, why didn't you leave right away? It's because we've been conditioned to believe that we have to stay in the marriage, for better, for worse, for richer or poor. And I chose to leave. I chose the better, meaning to leave. So, because I had to look out for myself. And
hey, did you, like me, have exterior influences telling you, oh, your husband is fine. You can't do better. Or, hey, take this antidepressant and get over it.
Some would say get over it. That's not a proper response. But then others would say that you deserve better. They said that I deserve, and I actually wrote a chapter in a book that's going to be released on March 4th. I co-authored a book series called Unsilenced Voices, and I share my real and raw story. And it's going to be released. And then I'm going to be attending the event in Tampa Bay on March 30th, along with 10 other authors. So you can use your voice in many different ways on speaking stages, the podcast right now. I started mine on the podcast, and then I branched out and started to speak on stages and also co-authoring because it's an awakening. Let me ask you this. How were you able to reclaim your voice?
You mean my physical and literal voice, right?
Right.
Okay.
Reclaim your power. How were you able to take your life back and reclaim your voice?
Meditation.
There you go. There you go. I did the same thing.
You have to quiet your mind, reclaim sleep, and through meditating, one like us is able to do miraculous things. And some of it is stepping into dark places to see things that have happened differently, or to be able to see them differently, to cut cords from the lessons we learned and no longer want to carry forward.
Right.
Meditation saved my life and continues to allow me to connect with the divine daily and be a vessel in spirit and in this human experience.
There you go. Meditation is huge. Can you describe like the holistic healing practices that you use, meaning the meditation? Can you share that with us, please?
Okay. I am an energy healer, and I only garnered those abilities through God or the divine. When I acquiesced, like you said earlier, and you need to just step back, believe, and allow. That is when the divine comes through and tells you what you're meant to do. and B. I, in energy healing, can or do take a client where we're not even visually connected. Clear my energy and invite their spirit team in. Start an energy scan beginning at their chakra here. Chakra. See energy spots, and then their team tells me the source and how it's manifesting.
There you go. I love that.
And then we can release it if it's a past life experience. I go back, live it, see it, and then ask, what do they need to take from it to move on? Yeah. And I do that through their body and aura.
Wow. That's amazing. I've done some of that holistic healing that you talked about. I've done that. It's amazing.
Now you've gotten it or done it?
I have both because I was in Austin, Texas, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. We had a lady, young girl, did sound healing meditation. We did it for 45 minutes. It was amazing, and it was outside. Beautiful on a lake, and it was, oh yeah. I had chills. I had goosebumps. Healing is not linear. You know, we're always working on ourselves, and it's a work. We're all a work in progress. And you teach your clients how to do that too. What types of clients do you serve? Do you now serve?
I have served a couple of men, mainly women.
Okay, mainly women.
And it's been women in their early 30s to 60s. Even had a client in her early 70s, and that gives me hope and should give all of us hope that regardless of age, there are people wanting to heal, live their soul's purpose.
There you go. Their soul purpose, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing because you turned your pain, which is huge, into purpose. And now you're teaching other women. Thank you very much. We both have. For the woman who is listening right now and feels completely shattered and broken, what would you say to her directly?
Listen to your inner thought and voice. Trust it with every fiber of your being. Then ask yourself, who is the one person you can go to help you get out of that abusive, awful situation situation. We all have one person. Some of us are lucky enough to have a couple. But if you don't feel there's anyone you can count on, just get out, walk out right about without money, just trust God. He will deliver you to safety. He has been waiting for your knowledge, awakening that you're meant to be more. Just go. I left my abusive situation with $20 in my bank account. Just go. It will happen. Just trust it and go.
Just trust it. You took the words right out of my mouth, because that happened to me. I found out when I went to the bank. Driving to the bank, I'm shaking. I'm like, because I wanted to get money out so I could go like rent an apartment to be out, but I wasn't able to. I only had $20 to my name. That was it. And I still moved forward. I didn't get discouraged. All the money was drained from the bank account. I was like, oh my God, picture yourself. You're in the car and you're driving and you're shaking. You're just praying so hard that the money is there, only to find out it's a zero balance. And they said, so the teller told me that the bank account was in both names. That was a big mistake. For those of you who are going to be watching this podcast episode, make sure you have a separate bank account. And lo and behold, God was with me and I had a separate bank account. It wasn't a bank account. It was an emergency fund that I had created, and he didn't know about it. I just did it. It helped me get through rough times, get through that period.
And for me, when I left my home state of Michigan, headed to Florida with $20. People came through. I mean, unexpected. People came through with money. It's not about the bank account, right? It's about being open to telling people and accept.
That's exactly what I did. I tell you, I realized, wow, look at the support I have, because you asked for help and you were willing to receive it. Like me, I asked for help. Both of us asked for help. That's the best advice that you have given in this episode. I'm so glad that you joined us, and you're so brave. And we're coming up to the top of the hour. Where can people reach you? It will be in the show notes, everyone. You can reach Shari and book a call with her.
Thank you for sharing and having me. My book, Broken to Enlighten, is launched, and you can get a copy or connect with me on my website, Shari Roberts.org/my-book. I'm on order a copy.
Definitely, I'm going to order The Broken to Enlighten. That's the name of the book. You can get it here at shariroberts.org. Is it on Amazon by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can get the book on Amazon. Everything will be posted in the show notes. I am so happy, and thank you for your honesty and bravery, and thank you for reminding us that no matter how long that we have endured pain, we are never too late for healing. To every woman listening right now, if you saw yourself in this story, please hear me clearly that you are not crazy, you are not weak, and you are not beyond repair. You are not broken, you are becoming. Narcissistic abuse may distort your identity, but it does not get to define it. It doesn't define you. And healing is not linear. It is not always glamorous, but it is absolutely possible. And just like Shari, you can move from brokenness to wholeness, from confusion to clarity, from silence to strength. If today's episode spoke to you, please share it with another woman who needs hope. Please leave a review. And most importantly, choose yourself, because your story does not end in survival. It continues in purpose. Until next time, let's keep breaking the silence unapologetically. We all wish you an amazing day. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Her Unapologetic Voice. Every conversation here is meant to help you build confidence from the inside out and find strength in your own words. If today's message resonated, follow the show and share it with a friend who's ready to lead from who she truly is. You can also connect with me on social media at Her Unapologetic Voice podcast for updates and behind the scenes insights. Remember, confidence begins when you stop apologizing for your truth and start speaking from it. I'm Angeline Constantinou, and I will see you in the next episode.